Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to College Sport Check Basketball Scoreboard, presented by Skybox Podcast Center, available at CommunityRadio.li.com and on Spreaker.com, #sports. So, College Sport Check Basketball Scoreboard, we got the scores from this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Starting with Friday, Harvard defeating Cornell 77-71. Milwaukee over Detroit 73-69 in overtime. Columbia defeats Dartmouth 66-54. Iona over Siena 77-66. Quinnipiac defeats Monmouth 76-95. Valparaiso over Wright State 70-55. Yale over Brown 85-75. Northern Kentucky defeats Illinois Chicago 79-62. VCU over Dayton 73-68. Weber State over Idaho State 96-74. And Green Bay defeats Oakland 80-72. 11 games on Friday. Saturday, 144. And here we go, starting with number 2, Kansas defeating number 4, Kentucky 79-73. That was a crazy game. Number 3, Gonzaga defeated Pepperdine 96-49. Number 5, Baylor over Ole Miss 78-75. Syracuse defeats Florida State 82-72. Number 9, Miami, Florida defeats number 9, North Carolina 77-62. Colorado over number 10, Oregon 74-65. And Georgetown defeats number 11, Butler 85-81. Georgia Tech defeats number 14, Notre Dame 62-60, and a nice buzzer beater layup there. Number 15, Wisconsin defeats Rutgers 61-54 in overtime. Number 16, Creighton over DePaul 83-66. Number 17, Duke defeats Wake Forest 85-83. Number 18, West Virginia over Texas A&M 81-77. Number 21, St. Mary's of California defeating Santa Clara 72-69. Number 22, Maryland, they defeat Minnesota 85-78. South Carolina, number 23, South Carolina, they defeat Missouri 63-53. Number 25, South Florida defeats Oklahoma 84-52. Davidson, they defeat Fordham 84-66. Central Michigan over Kent State 105-98 in overtime. And Bryant defeats Fairleigh Dickinson 73-72, also in overtime. Morehead State over Jacksonville State 72-69. Clemson over Pittsburgh 67-60. North Carolina Asheville defeats Radford 80-69. College Sport Check Basketball Scoreboard. New Hampshire, they defeat Jacksonville State 72-69 in double overtime. Ball State over Western Michigan 84-78. Fairfield over Marist 72-62. Sanford over VMI 69-67. George Mason over Massachusetts 76-74. Tulsa over Central Florida 77-66. South Carolina Upstate defeats Kennesaw State 79-73. Furman over North Carolina Greensboro 73-67. Canisius defeats Manhattan 78-64. Northern Illinois defeats Toledo 74-72. Northern Iowa over Drake 71-63. Loyola Maryland over Lafayette 72-62. Massachusetts Laurel defeats Fisher 97-73. Loyola Chicago over Indiana State 81-66. Texas Tech over LSU 77-64. Charleston defeats Drexel 90-76. High Point over Winthrop 83-80 in overtime. Providence defeats Marquette 79-76. Liberty University over Campbell 72-40. Rhode Island defeats St. Bonaventure 71-59. Tennessee over Kansas 70-58. Niagara defeats Rider 80-67. Actually, it's Tennessee defeating Kansas State. Kansas, of course, lost to beat Kentucky. Niagara defeats Rider 80-67. Old Dominion over North Texas 73-67. Bucknell over Army West Point 96-75. Grand Canyon over Chicago State 85-77. In double overtime, Eastern Michigan defeats Miami, Ohio 74-57. Central Connecticut State defeats LIU Brooklyn 61-52. really had some really good basketball this weekend. Some fun basketball too. Memphis defeats East Carolina 57-50. Texas Arlington over Appalachian State 83-67. Nevada over New Mexico 82-65. North Carolina Central over North Carolina A&T 82-59. Lipscomb over New Jersey Tech 66-62. San Francisco defeats Pacific 81-60. IPFW over Oral Roberts 87-83. Morgan State over Coppin State 76-74. Vanderbilt over Iowa State 84-78. College Sport Check basketball scoreboard. Northern Arizona defeats North Dakota 68-67. East Tennessee State over Chattanooga 76-71. Maryland Eastern Shore over South Carolina State 92-69. Georgia defeats Texas 59-57. George Washington over St. Louis 63-55. Mount St. Mary's over Sacred Heart 67-53. The Navy defeats Holy Cross 60-47. Ohio over Bowling Green 96-72. Ellen over Hofstra 84-70. Stetson over North Florida 88-74. Oklahoma State over Arkansas 99-71. William and Mary defeats North Carolina Wilmington 96-78. Stetson, they defeat North Florida 88-74. Oklahoma State over Arkansas 99-71. Savannah State over Howard. I skipped a bunch over here. Ohio defeats Bowling Green 96-72. Ellen over Hofstra 84-70. Savannah State over Howard 73-70. We also have Western Kentucky defeats Texas San Antonio 81-66. Wagner over St. Francis Brooklyn 66-64. Florida A&M over Delaware State 81-68. Montana State over Eastern Washington 91-90 in overtime. Eastern Illinois defeats SIUE 75-60. South Dakota defeats Denver 88-83. Mercer over Citadels 82-66. Penn State over Illinois 71-67. Texas State over Coastal Carolina 52-50. San Jose State over UNLV 76-72. Incarnate Word over Central Arkansas 81-80. Arkansas State defeats Louisiana Monroe 73-63. Georgia State over Troy 78-72. Lamar over Northwestern State 85-64. Gardner-Webb defeats Charleston Southern 85-76. Boise State over Wyoming 80-65. St. Joseph's over LaSalle 73-72. Richmond over Duquesne 101-90. Northern Colorado defeats Southern Utah 89-71. Cornell over Dartmouth 75-62. Alabama over Mississippi State 71-62. Auburn over TCU 88-80. Middle Tennessee over Louisiana Tech 71-61. Colorado State defeats San Diego State 78-77. Norfolk State over Bethune-Cookman 73-66. Jackson State over Mississippi Valley State 83-68. Alcorn State defeats Southern University 74-64. Grambling defeating Arkansas Pine Bluff 61-53. Delaware over James Madison 66-61. Presbyterian, they defeat Longwood 71-62. Utah over Oregon State 86-78. Youngstown State over Cleveland State 67-64. Florida Gulf Coast over Jacksonville 78-56. San Francisco PA over Robert Morris 89-83 in overtime. UTEP, the Miners defeat Marshall 91-68. Albany over Hartford 74-61. Vermont over Stony Brook 71-64. Western Carolina defeats Wilford 68-62. And then the Battle of the A&Ms. Prairie View A&M defeats Alabama A&M 70-65. Northwestern over Towson 69-62. Stephen F. Austin over New Orleans 71-61. Columbia over Harvard 65-62. Sam Houston State over Southeastern Louisiana 71-69. Nicholls State over McNeese State 78-74. Akron defeating Buffalo 91-90. Southeast Missouri State over Austin Payee 82-71. Alabama Birmingham over Southern Miss 87-43. Iowa defeats Ohio State 85-72. South Dakota State over Omaha 88-84. Western Illinois over IUPUI 78-69. Connecticut over Tulane 78-68. UC Riverside defeats UC Irvine 74-65. Cal State Bakersfield over UMKC 74-63. Rice defeats Charlotte 84-67. Murray State over Tennessee Martin 94-86. Southern Illinois over Missouri State 85-84 in overtime. Cal State Northridge over UC Riverside 63-59. Texas A&M CC defeating Abilene Christian 72-60. South Alabama over Georgia Southern 78-66. Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns defeat Little Rock 88-82. Texas Southern over Alabama State 70-68, and Eastern Kentucky defeats Tennessee Tech 79-66. Belmont over Tennessee State 93-76. BYU over Loyola Marymount 85-77. Cal State Fullerton defeats Cal Poly 81-71. College Sport Check basketball scoreboard: New Mexico State defeats Utah Valley 74-69. Idaho over Montana 85-77 in overtime. Utah State defeats Fresno State 78-65. Seattle defeating Texas Rio Grande Valley 96-84. Houston over Temple 79-66. San Diego over Portland 68-52. Sacramento State over Portland State 80-77 in overtime. Hawaii defeats UC Santa Barbara 78-56, and that wraps up the Saturday game. And then from Sunday, still Sunday, 20 games on Sunday. Number 1 Villanova defeating number 12 Virginia 61-59. I got a little bit of that one yesterday. Arizona, number 7 Arizona defeating Washington 77-66. 13 Louisville defeats North Carolina State 85-60. Number 19 Cincinnati defeating South Florida 94-53. Nebraska defeating number 20 Purdue 83-80. Number 24 Xavier defeats St. John's 82-77. Michigan State over Michigan 70-62. Oakland defeating Milwaukee 79-70 in overtime. Detroit over Green Bay 93-92. Binghamton over Maine 65-54. Colgate over American University 70-65. Washington State over Arizona State 91-83. Valparaiso over Northern Kentucky 65-58. Iona defeats St. Peter's 69-66 in overtime. Illinois State over Evansville 69-59. Wright State over Illinois Chicago 88-86. Wichita State over Bradley 64-49. Northwestern defeats Indiana 68-55. Virginia Tech over Boston College 85-79. And finally, California defeating Stanford 66-55. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back on Wednesday with some more scores. Racing fans, heads up, Motorsports Radio returns on February 22nd, and we'll run down what you need to know for this upcoming racing season. All NASCAR fans out there, of course, scratching their heads with the new format and everything. We'll break it all down for you. The Motorsports Radio Podcast Network comes out of its slumber starting on February 22nd. College Sport Check Basketball Scoreboard, we run all the way through to the end of March Madness. Long Island Community Radio, CommunityRadioLI.com, and on Spreaker.com, it's #sports. From the Skybox Podcast Center, this is Manny A, and have a good one.